Hey guys, Grizzly here again, and this is my very first segment of Flashback Friday. I am really stoked to have this segment getting started here. It's something I've wanted to do ever since I first started the blog, and this segment is going to be focused on Alan Wake. So what I'm going to do with these segments, Flashback Friday, is talk about a game in the past that I think has been overlooked or should have your attention. And Alan Wake just fits perfectly into that category. This game was released in 2010 by developer Remedy, um, exclusively to the Microsoft Xbox 360. And this game is just such a seamless blend of fantastic gameplay, um, deep, involving storytelling, and just phenomenal, a phenomenally, sorry if I can talk, immersive experience. Unfortunately, the reason why it was largely overlooked is because it released the same week as Red Dead Redemption. And I mean, I love this game so much. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Um, but even I have to say that's really unfortunate because Red Dead Redemption released with so much hype and with so much attention on it that anything released in that same period, really not going to get the same kind of coverage. So, Alan Wake follows the story of a writer, Alan Wake. Gee, big surprise. And he is traveling through the world of Bright Falls. He comes here to get a little R&R after some frustrations with getting his next book written. He's had some writer's block for like 3 years or something. Now I'm a writer, so I know how frustrating it can be when you just feel like you don't have any ideas to work with. So obviously, when he gets to Bright Falls, shit goes bananas. Um, the town gets taken over by the dark presence, the darkness, whatever you want to call it, and infests all the village people, and it's up to Alan to sort of uncover the mystery behind Bright Falls, destroy the darkness, and sort of figure out um, what needs to be done. And it's this big adventure. It's actually can be a pretty lengthy game. Probably about 9-10 hours. Your first time through, plus two DLCs already released, which are well worth it. I'll talk about them a little bit later on. But this game, I think it's pretty lengthy. It's split up into episodes, sort of like a TV show, and I really liked that organization because not only does it make it really easy to sort of segment your gameplay, like when I play this game, and I've played it multiple times, I always play an episode a night, for 6 nights in a row, and it takes up a week. It's fantastic. It really, usually it's my R&R game in between new games that I play. So let's talk about the gameplay a bit. The gameplay focuses behind a basic mechanic of a flashlight and a gun. Now, I have never had a game make me feel such a strong connection to a weapon as I did this game's connection to the pistol, or not the pistol, the flashlight. There are times when you'll have a pistol or a shotgun or something, but you won't have a flashlight, and you just feel weak. And it's like it's fantastic how Remedy managed to do that with this game. Give you weapons that normally would make you feel strong. Like, in a survival horror game, I have a pistol or a shotgun, and I feel phenomenally strong. In this game, I don't. I need that flashlight to make me feel powerful. And it creates a great sense of tension. So the only complaint that I really have around the core gameplay mechanic of flashlight and firearm is that it really doesn't change. It's the same throughout the entire game. You'll be able to drive a car later on, and you'll get some sort of creative ways, like you'll have road flares, and in one really memorable segment, you'll get to use pyrotechnics on a stage. But ultimately, you really don't have the same the same variants of gameplay that you'd want to see from a survival horror game. You know, like Dead Space. I mean, it's the same basic gameplay mechanic and idea, but there are so many different types of enemies, and there's a lot of different set pieces that require you to sort of react differently. You know, games like Resident Evil 4 are the same way. Whereas this game, it's really just, it's always the same. It's you're surrounded by enemies. You need to whittle their darkness presence down with your flashlight and then finish them off with your handgun. And it's a great, great mechanic, but it's just, I would like to see a little bit more variation. And you do get that variation in the DLCs. There is a lot more set-piece variation to work with. So it just would have been nice to see it more in the main game. So I guess the next question that I would be asking if I was watching this video review would be, does this game really keep you going throughout the entire experience? Because a lot of games, especially survival horror games nowadays, can really have trouble keeping the player invested throughout the entire adventure. And believe me, I understand that problem. But Alan Wake really doesn't have that issue. It keeps the player moving. You see me here, I was trying to hit X rather than B, and I'm just being a retard. Alright, so it really, the pacing is great. At the beginning of every chapter, you lose all the items you had at the end of the last chapter, but it always makes sense. Like, there's always an event that happens that where you would logically lose the weapons and items that you'd have and have to start over. And the pacing is great. The later chapters provide some fantastic challenge, both in the way of numerous enemies and sort of the way the enemies come at you. There are a couple different enemy varieties, which helps keep the combat a little bit more varied and entertaining. Overall, I mean, this is the kind of game that can really define your Xbox 360 experience. I mean, I think it was wildly overlooked. At one point, Microsoft was giving it away with a promotion for Xbox Live, I think. I don't remember, but I know at some point they were literally giving away copies as a promotion. And it's not because the game is bad, it's just because it's so tragically underrated and it was tragically undersold. And it did get some good aftermarket support in the way of DLCs, and there are rumors of an Alan Wake 2. So the story has a pretty phenomenal ending that picks up in the first and second DLC. Both DLC have a really great continuance of the already really good, compelling narrative. And honestly, it'll leave you wanting more just so badly. So ultimately, obviously, I think it's pretty clear that I do recommend this game. I mean, I am doing a Flashback Friday for it, but I really want to hit home that this is the kind of game that you can get cheap, you'll enjoy the hell out of, and you'll probably want to play again and again, just for the experience. Actually, I do want to talk about the collectibles in the game, because they're kind of an important part. This game has probably the best collectibles of any game I've ever played. What it does is, instead of making you collect, random useless shit, you actually collect these pages of a manuscript that Alan Wake is writing, and they can reveal a side story, backstory, and even foreshadow what's to come to warn you. So that works really well, and I do have to wrap this up. But overall, fantastic game, great looking, great playing, definitely worth your money. I'm going to let you guys watch the end of this video. Rate, comment, subscribe, check out the blog, and definitely pick this one up.